the most important thing for longevity is not supplements. And I recognize that I make a lot of videos about supplements on this channel. It just seems like that's a topic that people are very interested in. I'm interested in it, so much so that a large number of supplements have become regularly integrated into my normal everyday approach to nutrition. Now, I'm sure you're probably expecting me to say exercise, nutrition or diet, including calorie restriction and fasting, optimizing sleep, reducing stress, and practicing mindfulness or meditation, or even sauna and cold plunges. And while all of those things can be very beneficial, and certainly several of them completely foundational, they are not the most important. No, I'm talking about the very thing that leads you to do any or all of those things at all. And without it, most people might not even do any of them to any extent whatsoever. I heard a quote one time that I'll never forget, and it goes like this: "Truly the doors of history turn on small hinges." Your life is no different. The decisions that you make, the thoughts that you think are like little hinges that the door of your life swings on, and that can open up to very big things later on down the road. And those things can add up to huge results. I'm talking about mindset. Now, I know that sounds like a very cliche and overused term, but before you click off this video, let me illustrate what I'm talking about with an experience from my own life. In 2015, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was in the Grand Canyon. The group that I was with was spread out. It's dark. I had never been on this trail, and I am hiking up the north rim of the Grand Canyon, 6,000 feet of elevation gain from the canyon floor. And that elevation gain takes place over about 14 miles as you leave Phantom Ranch, but most of it happens very steep switchbacks going up in about 6 miles. So it is very steep, and it just goes on and on and on and on. It's dark. My headlamp is barely functional. I can hardly see in front of me, and my knees hurt. I am tired, exhausted. I want to quit. And in all of that, I started thinking thoughts that, why in the world did I ever agree to do this? Why did I think that I could do this and then this? You're too old for this. You're too old to be doing things like this. Why did you ever think you could do it? You need to stop trying to do these things. I finally made it out of there, probably around 2:30 in the morning. And on that trip, our goal was to do the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim. It's about 45 miles. Uphill both ways. It's very rugged, very, very difficult. It's about a total elevation gain when you go down and down and then up again of about 11,000 feet. A few of us in that group actually made it, but most of us did not, and I was one of them. And I remember when we were driving away from the Grand Canyon that day, this is back in 2015, I said, I will never, ever do that again. What was I thinking? But over the course of a few days, and maybe a week or so, this other thought kind of popped into my head, and it said, but what if you do? What if you could? Why couldn't you be one of the people that were able to make it? You should be one of the people that could make it all the way. And I didn't realize it at the time, but at the time I was at a very pivotal moment. I could have accepted those thoughts that were in my mind saying, you're too old for this. Why even try? Or I could have decided, you know what? I think I can do this. I'm gonna go back. Hey, if you're liking today's video, please remember to subscribe. Thank you. Fortunately for me, I took the second option, and I did go back. I went back in 2017. This time I trained a little bit differently. I worked really, really hard. I went back with several of that same group. In fact, they were all of the ones who actually made it, or 4 of them that actually made it, and then there was me, who had never done it. I'm with 4 people who've done rim to rim to rim, and then there's me. That day, I was able to do it. In fact, I actually surpassed all of them and left them behind and beat them by a large margin. And that's not the point of the story. The point of the story was I was able to do it, even though I thought that I couldn't do it. After doing that, all of a sudden I started thinking, well, maybe I could do it faster. And then I decided to go back again, which is a topic for a whole nother video. In order to do that, I had to adopt a new mindset. I had to change my beliefs about what I was capable of, what I thought I was capable of. I had to have a strong reason, or a why, for moving forward and putting in the work to make the changes I needed to make to become a person who was capable of doing what I wanted to do. My why was that I wanted to do the Grand Canyon. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it despite the limitations that age was trying to impose upon me. As I look back, it's only now that I realize how much that one decision to go back to the Grand Canyon has impacted my life. I didn't know at the time I would later become interested in longevity, but that's where it led me. Hi. Well, I'm sitting here editing this video and I realized I need to ask you a question. I need to ask you, why are you interested in longevity? What is your why that motivates you to make changes, whatever they might be, whether that's to make changes to your approach to nutrition, whether that's to research and start taking some supplement, or whether that's to start or continue your exercise program or make changes to what you're doing there. What is it that motivates you to do anything regarding longevity, to enhance your own health span? Why are you doing it? And what do you hope to achieve? What do you hope the results will be? I would be very interested in hearing that, so please let me know in the comments below. If I gave in to the belief that I was too old, then I never would have gone back. I never would have changed my diet. I never would have started researching and taking supplements. I would not have continued a consistent exercise program at a relatively high level. I would never have read David Sinclair's book, Lifespan. Like him or not, that's an excellent book. Or Dr. Peter Attia's book, Outlive, or numerous other books that I've read on this topic. I never would have pursued my education and certification as a keto coach and now working on my health coach certification. And I would probably still be overweight, out of shape, and my biological age would likely be tracking very closely to my chronological age, or even higher. I probably never would have tried wake surfing recently.
Yeah!
I said tried it, I didn't say I actually did it. I never would have started this YouTube channel. I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you. My biological age is now 10 years younger than my chronological age, and I'm working on bringing it down even further. And despite some recent setbacks with various injuries that have interrupted my consistent exercise program, I'm still in better shape now than I was in 2015, nearly 10 years ago. Now, since that time, I've done the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim 5 times. And I have plans to go back next year. But recently, my mindset has shifted again beyond the desire to do the Grand Canyon. And I have to say, it's a new, more powerful reason to continue my efforts in longevity and on that path. And that is, I recently became a grandfather. I can't believe it. Isn't he cute? Now, my grandson at the time of this video isn't even a year old. I really want to be able to take him hiking and maybe even do the Grand Canyon one day. I want to be able to take him camping and fishing and play sports and be a fully functional, fun grandpa as much as I can. The challenge is that by the time he's old enough to do some of those things, I'll be in my 60s. And I know that still sounds pretty young to some people, but you know what? I've seen far too many people in their 60s that couldn't even do a small percentage of the things that I've talked about. And if that's you, please don't be offended. That is not my intent. With all of this in mind, I continue to strive to move forward and resist any inner voice that might say, "You're too old for this." And I hope you do too.